One of my favorite things to do in this game is take already developed horror fictional characters and bring them to life in-game. Hopefully after watching this video, you'll be able to do that with our friend Cartoon Cat. Hey everyone, this is Syntax, and today I'm going to be explaining how to build / position / sculpt Cartoon Cat. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Now, everything but Cartoon Cat's teeth and some of his gloves is a primitive shape, so just get the primitive shapes gallery, have it out on your island if you're going to try and build this right now, and we'll proceed with the rest later. Now, of course, depending on how tall you want your Cartoon Cat to be, your proportions are going to be different. So mine's about 15, 16 feet tall. He's a little over a wall tall, slightly under a wall and a half. As you can see, the ceiling is this high, but if you're going to have him taller, just make sure he has a bigger head, bigger arms, just stuff like that. I'll get into more specific stuff right now. If you didn't already know, primitive shapes can be found under the shape gallery. It is right here, and this is where we're going to be getting most of our pieces. Of course, we have the basic circle. Go ahead, you're probably going to initially want to start with grid snap on if you're building him, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Just grow a ball out about the size of this. Again, your proportions are going to be different if he's taller, if he's shorter, whatnot. Don't make him too short because you can only make the teeth so small, but just grow out a ball. There's nothing you have to do to it, nothing in particular. It's just a normal ball for Cartoon Cat's head. Maybe a little bit, if you feel like it, a little bit of widening. If I just go ahead and do this slightly, that is pretty much the perfect shape. Now, luckily for you, his body is the exact same shape, but all you want to do is actually stretch the height of it. It should stay the same width or just slightly smaller. Basically, it's just a ball. You just stretch it out and you should get a shape like this. Go ahead and attach that below his head. And luckily for you, again, the legs are also the exact same primitive shape. They should be about a body and a half long. As you can see, if I hold it next to his body, it's about a body length and a half. So just make his legs this long by stretching this shape out. Again, you want to make it almost as small as it can go and then stretch it out, and you should get these nice little legs right here. Guys, I have been searching for like 10 minutes and I cannot find the piece that I used to build his eye. So you could use this semicircle. Just make sure it's a semicircle with a flat bottom. And I'll just explain what I did really. All you do is kind of place it so that the flat is parallel with the ground, and you stretch the height so that it makes this kind of arch, and that will be the whites of his eyes. Now what you're going to do is you're going to copy that and shrink it down and then grow the width so that it appears out in front of the white of the eye. And if you do that, of course, you change it to the color black, and that is how the eyes are built. For the smile, I use these two pieces right here. This is the side of the mouth and this is the top of the mouth. I made them red and stretched them so that they kind of formed a smile. Now I went for just next to the middle of his eye on either side. As you can see, it's not in the middle of his eye, it's more on the middle right, if that makes sense. So it goes like that, and then the bottom one, it's just a tiny bit longer, and then the side ones, of course, are the exact same. They're just placed on the side. It doesn't look too pretty from the side, as you can see, but it gets the job done if you're just looking at him like this. So change that to red. That is the outline of his gums, and that is how you do his smile. Now, since we're on the face and almost done with the face, I might as well reveal that yes, his teeth are toilet paper. That's right. You can get toilet paper from the indoor residential prop gallery. Basically, just take them, shrink them all the way down, and as you place them, make sure they line up with the gums nicely. You don't want to have them all parallel to the ground because it will look pretty nasty if you do that. So make sure they just line up with the gums nicely, and you should have a nice set of human-looking teeth. Make sure there is gaps so they can tell it's teeth from afar, but if you've done that right, you've pretty much completed the head. The last piece is actually optional. It is this piece right here. Now, I changed it to black and shrunk it down a little bit because in most pictures, Cartoon Cat has a square-ish chin. But you really can't tell that he has a chin from this far away. I guess if you're looking really close, you could, but you don't have to add this. This is just, I guess, deeper detail than is needed. So yeah, that is Cartoon Cat's whole head. Now the shoulder area is composed of semi-spheres and the exact same thing I built for the head. The two shoulders are literally just the balls, and what I did was I made sure all this was 32 snaps. So 32 snaps is before you attach it to his body, and all this is a semicircle, as you can, or a semi-sphere, my apologies. And as you can see, it's going through his body and poking out through his armpits, for lack of a better word, on either side. So make sure it pokes out slightly, make it long enough so that it pokes out on either side of his body, and then take it, flip it right side up, and then stack it same width, but it's going to be a little bit taller, so it kind of connects to the side of his cheek here. And once you've done that, make sure the balls are attached at the end, and that is his shoulder area. It's literally just spheres and semi-spheres placed fancily, and you have a nice broad looking shoulder. For the arms, you're going to want to grab the smoothest cylinder you can find. That's pretty smooth, but if you can find smoother, I guess good luck. Now I have his arms segmented off in 2 different sections, but you don't have to. They can be one long section. I wanted to give it like a tiny little bend. But proportions for the arms, they should come below the bottom of his body. As you can see, here's the bottom of the arm. It is just ever so slightly below the bottom of his body. So if you're making your arms, Cartoon Cat's arms are about there, and I made them 2 different lengths just to, I guess, give it a creepiness factor. You don't have to. You can actually make them as long as you want, really, because Cartoon Cat's, I'll show you later in a couple models, Cartoon Cat can stretch and become whatever he wants, so his arms and legs can come really however long you want. But if you want a base model, just make them go slightly past the bottom of the base of his body. So that's it for all the simple stuff. The gloves is where it gets a little bit complicated, and if you're having a painful time building this, trust me, I know. If you're like me, I don't know if you are, but you can't see the clipping with primitive shapes, and it is really frustrating to try and place them like I did in line with the hand. Even that one, see, it's slightly off. It's really frustrating. Just stay patient, make those tiny little adjustments by selecting everything, and just try and work with it. It's really painful. Anyway, before you attach the gloves to his body, you want to build these completely separately because, like I said, these are a hassle to build. The fingers are really easy. Same thing we use for the head. It's just the circle shrunk all the way down, and then I'm stretching the height out, making the thumb, of course, a little bit smaller on both hands, and then you have his little fingers. I only gave him 4 because cartoon animals tend to only have 4 fingers, like Tom and Jerry and stuff like that, but you can give him 5, you can give him how many you want, in all honesty. Now, exactly like his teeth, part of his glove is not from the Primitive Shapes prop gallery. If I go over to galleries and select props, the palm of his glove is actually using this snowball right here. I lied, it's this snowball right here. You can kind of see it phasing in and out of the area we built, that white area. It kind of looks like a wand from behind, so just use a wand for frame. But anyway, it kind of looks like that. It's phasing out, and it just gives it a nice round structure. Now, the 2 little black pieces are also from the Snowman prop gallery. There's this piece right here. You shrink them down quite a bit and shape them just so they give that kind of glove look. You know, I have never seen gloves that don't have these 2 little black things on them. So, I mean, you could go without them, but in my personal opinion, Cartoon Cat's gloves don't really look like gloves until you throw those little, they're not cufflinks, but whatever they are, just throw them on there. And after you've used the same piece for his fingers, his legs, his head, his body, his shoulders, used the pieces for the eyes, built the ears, built the mouth, built the smile, got the shoulders properly, got the proportions right. Keep in mind, this did take me about 3 hours to build. You should have a lovely Cartoon Cat. Now, of course, I couldn't just leave it at that, so I'm going to go through the map, show you some behind-the-scenes stuff for the positions that I put them in, because some stuff doesn't look great from certain positions, but let's just go look at some of the ways that I move the separate pieces around and positioned him. So this adjustment here was very, very slight. All I did was select all of his head pieces, so from the chin up, and I moved it slightly left and slightly down. So instead of standing kind of askew and looking at the wall like he was, he is now looking down at you, which really should give you a sense of horror. It's like he actually moved and adjusted his head to look at you. Now this next frame, this is a good one. Now this specific frame is the reason I said you can make his arms and legs as long as you want to, because I actually have the length of the leg right here, as you can see, but I also have it again. So like I said, they can literally be as long as you want. You can see his arms are now 3 things long. I lied, this is 3 things, and this one is even longer. And as you can see, this arm is also long because it's reaching up. And when you are modeling him, when you are changing his framing position, you're gonna want to, like, even just bending the fingers can do so much. As you can see, if I look up at the wall, he only has 3 fingers here because you can only see 3 fingers, but it actually looks like he's like bending and grabbing the wall. You can see his fingers are even longer. I used 2 of the versions of fingers, but just make it look like he's actually interacting with things. You know, he has this weird kind of crawl at you. And again, I positioned the head so it's tilted. I didn't keep the same head position. Just be patient when you're repositioning him, and if you are patient, everything will work out beautifully. One of my favorite positions is the 2 Cartoon Cats right here. You can see I kind of have his hand reaching out. I kept the thumb small, but I kept these a little bit longer so they were easier to see. So this guy's got his head cocked a little bit, and so does the guy in the back. He's kind of got it tilted to the right. But you know, it's just, you just reposition reposition everything. You know, I would take the original model and I put it like right here, and then I would just start moving pieces. You know, I put a little bend in his leg by making it smaller and then attaching it like so. Put a little bend in his arm. You know, it's just small things like that. Just do that over and over again, and you should have a really nice final product. Oh yeah, some of the positions from the office scene when you're hiding in the locker. As you can see, he's kind of like smiling. You can just see his teeth. There's actually nothing on this side. I kind of deleted it all in an effort to save memory, but this is all you'll be able to see. You know, I have his hand wrapped around the top, and I have his hand flat on the floor. It takes a lot of patience to be able to position each individual thing like this, but when you do, oh my goodness, it looks so good. Another really good one. Got his hand wrapped around the column, and then it's on the barrel. He's got this one on the floor. He's kind of tilting his head at you. You can see his legs kind of bend almost like a spider. This one goes way back here. And if we actually go up, this one's where he's right in your face. Yeah, there he is. So he's like kind of just chilling, you know, his hands flat on the floor. Just position him in different ways, man. Have fun with it. There's so many things you can do if you just position things little by little. Here his head is just slightly cocked again. There's so much you can do. Of course, last but not least, some of the elevator frames. Look at that. If I come out here, you can actually see that he's, you know, prying the elevator doors open. If we go one frame below, actually, I didn't even take the liberty to build his arms. As you can see, it's just his hands, because that's all you can see. So sometimes you can be creative with it. Don't build what they can't see. If they can't see it, literally, if there's no way for them to see it, do not build it. You're going to be wasting your time. But you know, if we head up here, then he's cranking it even more open. And then of course the classic head flip. You guys can see it right here. I was building it and my friend was like, yo, you should flip his head upside down. So of course I flipped his head upside down. And then probably the best version of him, if I go up a little bit higher, you can see him right here. Yeah, there he is. The open mouth cartoon cat. I'm not going to explain. I mean, well, I guess I can. Basically, the only differences here is the teeth are triangles, and his head is actually broken into two semispheres. So they're that, and then the inside of his mouth is red, which are just smaller semispheres. And if you do that, you have these little pieces that act as cheekbones right here that look kind of nice. Oh yeah, and there's his neck extending outwards. Of course, you can't see that in game, but that is the open mouth version of him. He's got a couple rows of teeth. Honestly, it's not perfect, but it was what I came up with. So yeah, that's how you build Cartoon Cat. So there you guys have it. That is how you can build Cartoon Cat for yourself. Put them in your own maps, make your own maps, have your own designs, make your own gameplay, all that good stuff. I hope this video helped you out, and yeah, this has been Syntax. Later.